Newsline is it anyway? One of the greatest comedy series of our time, featuring some incredibly witty and talented comedians able to pluck some fantastically funny and crazy ideas from almost out of nowhere. The show has brought us some absolutely fantastic moments, and I wanted to make this little video to share with you guys just a few of my favourites. Before we take a look at my top 10 favourite moments, I want to say thank you to everyone on YouTube who uploads these clips. It's really great that you do that. It's fantastic that whenever I need something to laugh at, I can easily look it up and hey presto, there it is to cheer me up. But enough with that, let's go straight on to number 10. When Newsline came back onto the CW, I was thrilled to see my favourite comedians back to make more gut-busting jokes. Despite what criticisms might be flung, there's still some brilliance there. I was sad that we didn't really get the musical games we know and love right off the bat, but then one episode changed that.
It is time to play a game called Irish Drinking Song.
I don't know if you heard it, but that guy cheering yes summed up my feelings. I was so happy to see one of my favourite games performed again. You can tell they're a bit rusty on it. It improves the comedy seeing them try not to screw up after several years of no episodes. Then, of course, we get one of the best bits about Irish drinking songs, Colin's finishing lines.
We never circumcised his bone.
I love his finishes. This isn't one of his best, but it's definitely one worthy of Newsline's king. This moment is at number 10 because while I love it, it isn't something that holds too much sway in my mind. But for an IDS fan, it makes me very happy to see this game back. Living Scenery is probably one of the most interesting games, and perfect if you have a bit of a dirty mind. Playboy bunnies, belly dancers, and even Richard Simmons have been the scenery. But one moment has to do with Wayne and Colin. As two guys on the beach, Colin and Ryan get ready to surf, but while Colin gets his board, Wayne ready...
Quite enough! Boy, my board has a big bump in the back.
It comes up twice again. Colin apologises and sings from a hat, but when Wayne insults Colin's lack of skill and accents...
Order, Colin Mockery's Guide to Dialects in Different Countries. You get French? Hello!
Colin gets back in the perfect way.
The Wayne Brady surfboard with a bump big enough to sit on.
A bit of advice for anyone who plays these in a fair sports group. Be very careful with who you insult. It may come back to bite you. Especially if it's a handsome, balding Canadian. Now it's time to look at a UK moment. In one of my favourite hoedowns from the UK series, Steve Frost, Colin, Ryan and Tony Slattery sing about the pleasures of riding and owning a donkey. It starts off in typical style, misleading lyrics.
I was riding my donkey up a stony pass. I fell off onto the grass.
Colin not singing a full verse.
I like to ride my donkey. I ride him all day long. He is very, 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 very strong.
Then we get to Tony. And for those of you unfamiliar with Tony Slattery's style, he is a manic performer with a very dark, twisted, and slightly perverted sense of humour. If any performance can sum up his time on UK Newsline, it's this.
I love my fluffy donkey, I like to call him Clive. I dress him up in panties, he's the best animal alive. I like to dress him up in lots of frilly clothes, then the two of us begin to star in certain videos.
Tony, you legend. One of the games that went under a couple iterations was sound effects. It used to be Colin acting out a scene with Ryan providing sound, but later on it was Ryan and Colin with two guest audience members. Margaret and Bridie are picked to narrate Colin and Ryan as the dynamic duo Batman and Robin, but it seems their choice of effects are a bit... limited.
Pick it up, see who it is. Hello, To the vat poles!
This goes on for the remainder of the show, particularly thanks to Wayne.
When I'm with a woman, I go, ooh. Honey, I don't
Honestly, this is a golden joke, and I just love the awesome ways it's brought up. The ladies have a lot to take pride in here. Even though it could be embarrassing, it remains a brilliant moment. One of the things I realised when I started watching Newsline at an older age was just how adult the humour could be. Hey, we were all kids once, cut me some slack. But one of the best displays was things you could say about blank, but not your girlfriend.
Ways you can describe your motorcycle, but not your girlfriend. Sure you can ride her, everyone else has.
And the best of those scenes was things you could say to your dog, but not your girlfriend. You get some brilliant stuff from Ryan, but it's Colin that took that title.
Come!
This simple bit is brilliant, especially if you take a good look at Colin's hand in there. I will never look at that scene the same way after that. Dirty and crass humour may be ever present in comedy nowadays, but stuff like this still rises to the top.
I'm gonna give...
Scenes from a Hat has been the cradle of many a great moment on Who's anyway, and one of the best involved Sesame Street getting a tad not safe for work.
Now it's time to look at Big Bird.
Plenty of them were great, but one stood out among the rest.
The letter H.
It is absolute gold, so much so that in a CW episode, Jeff Davis was on the receiving end of its comeback.
Put your arms. Sesame Street is brought to you by the letter H.
And then Wayne gets in on the action with Roman.
The same? Oh, no.
Capital H.
I love it when the CW series does callbacks to the original run. While new stuff can be brilliant, classic callbacks are wonderful for a nostalgic sense of humour. Weird Newscasters is a fun little game, and I love the personalities everyone adopts. Ryan on weather was my particular favourite on these. But one of the best bits had to be Colin's puns in his top news stories.
The great Jamboni, eccentric human cannonball known for taking his lucky donkey to all his performances, escaped near tragedy today when the donkey climbed into the cannon muzzle just as Jamboni was taking off. It took the surgeons 3 hours to remove Jamboni's head from his ass.
While he has had some simple ones, I love his ability for wordplay when it comes to this game, but his best line comes from one particular top story.
Our top story today. Convicted hitman Jimmy Two Shoes McClarty confessed today that he was once hired to beat a cow to death in a rice field using only 2 small porcelain figures. Police admit this may be the first known case of a knick-knack paddywhack.
Come on, this is one line you can't forget from this show. Party Quirks was another fun game, which I'd probably put on the list of my favourite games on the show. But one particular episode stands out for me. When Kathy Greenwood hosts the party, Colin's role was a gutbuster.
Hi, welcome to my party.
Hi, nice to be here.
Thank you.
And he took hold of any opportunity he could get, as well as a few other things.
Party.
Well,
Hi, nice to meet you.
As the chaos of the party goes on, Colin sends the audience into hysterics as he grabs anything he could get his hands on. But the Wayne bits are the best. guess Ryan wasn't quite his size. It's definitely my favourite Party Quirks moment and one of Colin's best, no doubt. Ryan's impressions have been absolutely brilliant, doing great as John Wayne and especially as the late Carol Channing. And you can see where this is going. Ryan gets asked to be Carol for Party Quirks, though with a twist, and not acting on this twist ends up causing an accident.
We have no it's oh mighty Lord.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Oh my God. Are you okay? Yes.
Ouch, that had to hurt. And one of the best things is Ryan doesn't break character at all. The game continues until Kathy guesses what's wrong with Carol, and it really speaks to Ryan's dedication to his work. He could probably walk through hell to give a performance his all, and still have enough energy to flip the bird at the devil. Or in this case, Drew.
How many fingers am I holding up? 4? Close enough. How about me?
Newsflash is one of my other favourite guessing games on Newsline, and the situations and limited interactivity they bring to the game makes it one of the best. And of course, one of the best involved Colin, and not just as the host. We see his best moments played out, and we get one of the best lines ever. Period.
How did it start?
It all started with a badly timed ball joke.
I just love this one. It has unintentional self-deprecation, fantastic jabs at Colin, and of course, the moment of realization.
Now, I notice you're not wearing sunglasses to help you with that incredible shine.
That Newsflash will always stand out as one of my favourite moments from all of Newsline, and of Colin's performances. So, what do you guys think? Do you like my favourite moments? What are some of yours? Feel free to let me know down in the comments and let's share in some of the laughter. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you liked it, why don't you subscribe and stick around for some more goodness. But until next time guys, goodbye. Haidera.